Oh. All right, where are we? So, almost won with this bone system. Sorry, the Jiggle bone system. So right now we have a little bit problem on the character, but that's, we should have figured out things. So the hair are kind of moving. So it's kind of doing what we want. Obviously, there are a couple of things that we'll see if I can address today. And one obvious thing is now we have compenetration. So the hair are going inside the body. There are different ways to approach this, and we will see if we can solve it forcing the angle of how much the bones can move. If we can't, then the other option is we will have to create some kind of collider system. I don't think we need a very complex collider system. I think even just a small box or even a plane, you know, in case of this, like a box or a plane that goes together with our main hip bone, should work. Right. Yeah, we can see that's what I'm talking about. It's got these vertices that are going a little bit, yeah, haywire. Right. Okay. So the plan is that right now the first comment, once we got this working from pretty much my wife and me, was like, they don't really move like hair that much. They look more like a heavy chain. So the thing is that the idea is that we want to add I want to add stuff in the editor here that allows me to play with parameters. So I try to understand if we have what we need or if we need something more. So let's see. Is there a possible fix? Is there? Yeah. Yeah, looks like it's fixed. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And eventually something that we could also do, let me write it down. So what we can possibly do, everything okay, sweetie? What we can possibly do is, so jiggle bones, okay, so expose jiggle bones. That looks like some kind of, it's a different stream. Expose jiggle bone in the editor. And then params in the editor. And then if everything goes okay, we could try to, depending what time it is, we can have a first look at tennis game with hair, with wiggly hair, with jiggly hair, right? We'll see. We'll see. All right. So first thing for sure that we're going to need a new tab because we don't have enough space in the editor. So if I try to do this under my bones, this is already super busy. And if I click this, there is more stuff. So I don't think it's a good idea. So we're going to create a new tab. We're going to create a new tab. And we're going to put it down here. If UI tab item jiggles. Then we do jigglers, and we pass the UI. Easy enough. And we go here and we do our function jiggles tab, and we get the UI. It's a self mutable self. Oh my god, it doesn't have to go here. Has to go here. There you go. And this is I am GUI UI. Today it's a kind of low energy stream. I had a brutal tennis lesson. Brutal. All right, so that's our jiggle. All right, so what we're going to have? We're going to have, for sure, so right now we have one jiggle group. So we're going to move into a back of jiggle group. And we're starting with jiggle groups is back new, right? And then, so we can delete this. Right. So this model, we don't need it anymore. And down here, right, we can do some kind of if self jiggle groups is empty false, we grab the model and then self jiggle groups terminate. We do what we have to do. That should be enough. No, that's one more. Ah, yes, obviously. This debug thing. Let's comment it out and see, because we will need probably some kind of currently selected jiggle group. To that, you know what, I'm actually going to need that, so let's call it straight away. So selected jiggle group index, and it's going to be an option of your size, and obviously it's a none. Right, and then we can go back to that code that was doing the debug, and we can do if let some selected jiggle group index itself selected jiggle group index, we do this. Right, so let JB is self jiggle groups selected index. Right, that sounds good. We still doesn't do anything, this code. Nothing. So let's put here a list, which is going to be our tab, Jiggle tab, and let's start with, we're going to have a list box. So this is how we do the list box. Not super efficient, but whatever. So Jiggle groups is going to be a vector of, I wonder, there must be a better way to do this. Did I just spot an aged 64 model in a tennis game? What? 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 Did you? There must be a better way to do a list box, but I don't think so. I saw there was a path that led to a Boeing Edge. Ah, yes, you're right. Yeah, it's yes, I have it in my example. What is it? At a certain point, I was playing with the idea to, maybe I shouldn't say my game idea, but there is a game that I really love, and it's this game.
Just point the way.
Not this game, but this game. It's called, what was the car game? You remember? Dead Static Drive. Dead Static Drive. So I was really into this. And it's what is the part with the car? It's really based on driving, right? So it's got this isometric view with a car, and you fight monsters with this kind of view. And I really got into this heavily. Like, the game is not out yet, but so I was playing with the idea to do something where, you know, you were playing with some sort of either some kind of fictional military car. So you will get basically a combat game with that kind of view. So I was doing some experiment with that, and I think where is the helicopter? So I had my experiment with the. This doesn't work. This also doesn't work. I think they work with Jai. Where is the helicopter? So I was. Does this work? Yeah. So I was, you know, something like this, something, you know, and then, you know, treat it as a kind of futuristic, stealthy thing. And can't find the helicopter for the life of me. So I was looking for models of military stuff. I can't see it. Must be blind, but I maybe it's possible. Is it possible that I deleted because for some reason it would not load? Problematic? Jesus, I cannot find it. No, anyway. They're working. You're totally right. It's here it is. It's still in my download thing. Well, I'm curious now. You know, I have to see if it works. And if it's still there. No, it's not there. No, it's not there anymore. So maybe it's on another computer, who knows? Yeah. Yeah, it's that at the end this is an editor, so there is a whole bunch of models that, you know, I've been using in the last couple of years looking for ideas. Don't worry. it's that kind of day. And I actually got pretty far with that idea of the game. I got the car driving. I don't think it still works. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I don't think my stuff here still works. Let's give it a try. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. See here, I still have airplane, all my experiment, car, AI car, airplane physics, environment, first person. I had at a certain point, I had like a game where you had like you were driving this kind of playing with the idea. But I bet all the content is still here. So this kind of cars doesn't work. Sadly, I need to load it probably with the other editor, with the Jai. Yeah. So, you know, if you know me, I love this kind of cars. And so you were driving like this kind of cars, and they were like giant ants. You have to run away from. Sadly, I really don't think this stuff works. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it a try to remember how it works. There was like a level loading that you could choose what to load, but I think lately I'm still here. So load request. All right, so load request. Create level loading. There you go. So let's see if this works. So we go here. Then we do the load request. And then, so I have a cat level. That might work. Then I have the stealth, which is the game they actually want to see. And then I have this thing, bomb. I doubt this is gonna work. So create sim doesn't exist, but this should be still there. So it's just a matter of including it. So, okay, here we'll probably know. Let's see. No. I think it's getting confused. I think there is no way that it's gonna work. Let's try this one. Can this one work? Nope. No. Sadly, I can't. I really wanted to show it. You know, one of these days I have to try to resurrect it. I don't think I have an executable, because this is already the tennis game. So I don't think so. How about dude? Dude. What is this doing? Okay, so okay, this is close enough to an experiment. So this works. And so there you go. Like, you know, same car as it's incredibly dark, you know, you can turn on the lights. And it's the same car of the Dead Static Drive running around this track. I really love this kind of view for racing games. The reason why I like it is because it's very... Sadly, I noticed that this car doesn't have power, so it doesn't really drift, because who knows what version of the game this is. But I really like how well you can understand what the car is actually doing. Obviously, it's a little bit complex if you're not used to this kind of games, because you have to... Okay, should I turn left or should I turn right? Cool, it still works. I should really save like more demos on my stuff. I had this was another game that I was doing in Unity. It was another idea. Let's see if it works. This one I spent quite a bit of time with it. That's not it. That's not this is just our boat in Unity. That's not the one. All right, fail. I really wish I had more stuff. This is the tennis in Godot. Okay, so very recent. I should have more builds on my stuff. Demo. This is the flight simulator from where Idlefall Generation started. What happened? Doesn't work. Doesn't work. I should really get into the habit to save more on my demos. Because it's really cool to look at them after some times. Yeah, I don't think I have other. Yeah. Sadly, I cannot show you anything. And it's also for little car physics programming in games. I think you should study car dynamics. So for games, I doubt that there is anything interesting apart from if the old Racer website is still there. Is it? Racer.nl? Is it still there? It's still there. So this website, it's got some information that you might... there is... there should be somewhere the source code. It's very old game. I don't know if it even works. The guy that did this ended up creating this company called Cruden, and they do now like huge motion simulators for companies. And I remember that they had documentation. They had one fantastic paper about gear simulation stuff. So how to do your drivetrain stuff, graphics, control, importing cars. There you go. But this is more like the tutorial references is about. Now, what is the technical documents? Combined slip. This is interesting. I cannot find the gear stuff. Gear, no. Transmission, no. Nope, it's not here anymore. Anyway, my suggestion is start from learning car dynamics. It's not an easy task. You're talking about, getting books like these. You're talking about big stuff. Getting something. This is a good one. This one is quite new. So you need to go deep. You need to go deep and hard. What does that CRUD log is basic Unity logo ripoff, is it? Hey, Noxart, how you doing? Yeah, but but what you're doing, which is the raycast, the raycast for the tires, and the suspension. I imagine that's what you meant, right? Did you mean the suspension? Yeah, it's simulating dynamic springs for each tire. Oh yeah, it's if you can code a good tire model, the thing that I was driving before, that's exactly what it is raycast, so it's got no suspension, so it's perfectly okay for simple games. Obviously, if you want to do a simulation, you have to go and model things like, obviously the tire model is still going to be 90% of your simulation, right? That's the difficult part. That's where all the forces are coming from. So, your thing is going to live and die on the tire model. And then you have your suspension model. And the way you do it, you start from a rigid body for every wheel. And then what you do is you connect the rigid body of the wheel to the chassis of the car using constraints. The easiest way to do it is to find an engine that has some kind of constraints that will keep 2 points at the same distance. That's not the easiest way, but it's the thing that instantly is gonna give you pretty much everything, because at that point you can do your double wishbone, you can do your McPherson, you can do pretty much your multi-link, right? So that's what you want, is like this constraint. I think something like physics has it. I'm pretty sure it does. So that would be a good start. Another way to do it, which is a little bit potentially, it's more limiting, is you could also, the other step is that instead of having your spring for your suspension and tires, you could have like a separate rigid body for your tire, and then it's connected to the body with a slider constraint. That's not really going to give you a lot. It's going to give you a little bit of the sprung and sprung masses. Yeah. But the most important thing is really to go deep in understanding cars, first of all. And I don't think there is a specific thing for games. What I think of Godot from YouTube. I enjoyed it very much. I think it's there. Obviously, I think for me the biggest advantage that I find with Godot, well, there are a couple of advantages, but for me, like the advantage that makes me really enjoy it is the fact that you can use the latest .NET stuff with it. That part I really enjoy, and it makes everything pretty snappy, pretty fast to work with. Now, yesterday I think I saw news that maybe by the end of this year we might get the first Unity experimental alpha, beta, whatever with the .NET, what they call the core net, wherever they change the name every 2 months in Microsoft. They change the name. Core net, I think it's called, and I think that's something that potentially can make Unity really interesting, but it's still far away. Right? So if it's going to start to be somewhere next year for the first alpha beta, then you already know that it's going to be a couple of years before it's actually usable. So the nice thing about Godot is that it's usable right now. So yeah, I like it. The reason that I didn't use it is, I explained this before, is more a matter of I ended up losing motivation if I don't write my own engine. I start to get this super weird feeling where it's like I'm not involved with the project. Like I enjoy the fact that at the beginning, things can look pretty, but then eventually I start to lose. I always get this feeling that it's not really, I didn't do it. It's not really my thing. It's not something that I did, which is, I know it's a very stupid thing, but I know it's a thing for me. So that's why eventually I moved from Godot back to doing my own engine. Yanni from YouTube, probably a lot of people say this, but AC still feels the best. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean it's I end up loving the project less. You see what I mean? And if I love the project less, it means that I'm going to work less hours and with less drive, and that's eventually, it could kill completely my interest, right? Let's go. Where are we? We're trying to make a list box. there was a long so we have to do this list box like this. So we will have to do the items. So we need basically this vector of strings, which makes me a little bit unhappy, because this is let's see if we can at least we can make a vector of str, which is it's a reference to so at least we're not allocating strings, but we are allocating this vector, which, I mean, it's not great. It's not great, but we can live with it. So this is going to be and we need a name for this guy. So we need a name now for our Jiggle groups. So pub name, it's a string, and when we create one, we pass in something that will end up being our name. All right. So name, right? We collect it into this guy, And then we do a list box. Jiggle groups, and we pass in the self-selected I think because it's a thing in a list box, I cannot really do it as an option. It's fine. I do it as a I32. So basically, it's like if it is -1, we don't have a jiggle group. I'm doing it like this for the entire editor, so it's not a big deal. And here we just check. It's not -1. That's fine. Hope the weather isn't too bad. It's fantastic. It's windy. It's always windy here. It's always windy. But other than that, I think I was lucky. My first summer in Australia was not bad. I came here from the Netherlands really worrying about the hot weather, but so we got this. So right now we have an empty list. Connor, hello. Do you like Rust functional features? Yes and no. I don't go overboard with it. Like for example, I really go in and out. Like for example, I tend not to. When I do for loops, I tend not to do the for each iteration. With the lambda, I tend to actually write the for loops, but yeah, I'm all right. All right, okay, so we have our jiggle groups. So what we're going to need is a button to add a new jiggle group, right? So if UI button add group, right? We do the name. Should we for now? I don't think it's worth to really have names. So we could actually call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably. Yeah. For now, let's do that. So let's do. The jiggle group is going to be jiggle group new, right? And we're going to do format, and we're going to put, jiggles number, and where is self jiggle groups len +1. Okay. This, and then we do self jiggle groups push. Do you find Jai memory allocators better than Rust? They are better in certain situations, and they're worse in other situations. I really love the temp allocator. So I really like the fact that you can just create strings on the fly during your frame and then clean up the memory at the end of the frame. It is something that you can do in Rust, and actually Idlefold Generation, my game, has it. Using something called bump allo. It's a crate in Rust that basically is a temporary allocator that you can reset. But obviously the nice thing about Jai is that it's built in the concept of the language, so it works really well. One thing that I miss in Rust is in Jai is how easy is to create a clone of something. Like you derive clone and from all your structure, and then you can call clone and you have a clone. Like I had my situations in Jai where I had like, okay, I need to clone this animation data, and I need to go and you need to write a dedicated function to do that, to duplicate the arrays and so on. And then you start to get into, okay, but what allocator was used to create this? So it's, from a performance point of view, potentially is much more performant the way Jai does it, because you don't have this, like, for example, something like this in Jai, that's a perfect example. Like this vector in something like Jai, it will be something you just create on the temporary allocator. So it will have no cost, right? While in Rust is an actual allocation. I saw Perth weather get to 40 degrees is not good. Yeah, I mean, I have to say I don't live in Perth. I live somehow 20, 30 kilometers north of Perth, close to the sea. So usually the weather right here where I am is always like 5 or 6 degrees less. And it's the kind of typical memes about Perth it's a meme because everybody says that, because it's true, is the fact that is a dry hot weather. And that means that you don't sweat. Obviously, my aircon is on. Today is not that hot, it's like 27, 28. Usually my brain shuts down at 26. So the moment the temperature reaches 26 in the house, is like, okay, my brain is gone. I need the aircon. But it's rare. We didn't have, at least up here, I didn't get so many days that were 41. And the other thing is that it tends to get more fresh in the evening. So you obviously, I had a situation just before Christmas where my aircon was broken. So I had like a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks without aircon. And there were a couple of days where I was just going crazy. So obviously, it's hot. Yeah, 20 degrees, if I'm wearing the t-shirt, is a little bit too much for me. So it's like 20 degrees, I will start reaching for a sweater. Even in the Netherlands, I think in the Netherlands, our house was usually around 23-ish. But I have to say, it was fun. Apart from the wind is annoying, especially if you play tennis. The wind is annoying. In fact, every time I have to choose the day to actually go play tennis, the first thing that I look is the wind. If it is windy, it's like, I'm not gonna go. If it's not windy, it's more likely that I start to bother my wife. Let's go play. That's I am GUI. Yes, that's correct. That's I am GUI. All right. So with this button, we can add groups. So that's easy. So fine, right? And we can select the groups. Fine. Okay. So probably 20 groups is a little bit overkill. So let's reduce this to probably 10, right? And then we go here and we go, if self-selected Jiggle group index is not -1, what we do? We start by writing again, just because we can, the name. So let's grab this. Let's grab this Jiggle group. Right, and we just write the name, I think. Can I just do What's wrong? The type Jiggle group cannot be indexed. Okay, this is something that I really hate about Rust. Everything that you want to use as an index in an array has to be usize. It's like, oh, fuck. All right. Evil in a void. Thanks. I hope, you know, I hope people will enjoy it. Okay. This is the easy part. What is the first thing that we want to do? So the first thing that we want to do is we want to select the bone that is creating the Jiggle group, right? So the way we do that, I was watching your stream a long time ago. Is that girl that did? Yes, she is. Yes, she's my wife. Yes, she's doing also the 3D for the tennis. Yes, she stuck around. Yes, yes. What we need is a combo box. Combo. Ah, it's okay. I don't think I ever even say their name. So the label is root bone. The current item. Okay, so we need another index here. Probably not. Probably we have the technology to know this. Bone index. This is a bone index, and this is going to be Jiggle group. Jiggles 0 if so this is going to be jiggles. So let's do it in a Rust way. So first unwrap or, and we return -1, and then we do let's do parent index for now as I32. Is this going to work? Yeah, obviously it's not gonna work. So we have to go all the way. I think if you are an expert in Rust, you know if you know a better way to write this, let me know. Is this some standard IMGU library or is a self? It's the standard IMGU library, but from Rust. So is a crate in Rust. Crate in Rust is like a library that calls into IMGUI, and they did some, you know, slight changes in the way you use it. First returns an optional, yeah. So basically what I want is this parent index. I think there is something like and then or something like that. Yeah, I think that's how you do it. You do it and then, and you grab the bone and you return the parent index as I32, and then you do unwrap or -1. I think that's how you write it in one liner. Let's see if I'm right. I think this is how you do it. Okay. You return some this. Yeah, I mean, you tell me if this is more readable than the if. No idea. No idea. So this is the bone index. Bone index. Okay. And then we need to put the items. And the items, I like this more because the items is a what is the item? How did I do the combo? Let me check. I forgot. Combo single string. Okay, I was using combo single string, so I have to do another array. Is that another way? Combo root bone index, that's where I'm writing. Yeah, so I have to do combo single. How am I supposed to use this? Items is a vector of v, but what is v? Where? Ah, okay. This is cool. Okay, I think I understand what this is. So what I can do is send, so we need the model. I need to grab the model. So let model is self-seen get model models get self model ID, and we unwrap brutally because we know it's gonna be there. Then here we pass the bones of the model, and I think the next parameter is a function that is a lambda. Yep. And look how awesome the fact that actually Rust Analyzer understand this. Okay, so what's the problem here? Expected enum cow string found the reference. Okay, is it astr? Expected mutable reference mute usize. So you want it as a usize, this bone index? Okay, I'll give it to you as a usize. All right. Okay, it makes sense, right? If we don't have, right, because if we don't have, if we don't have a root bone, right? This is a combo box. It's not a list, right? Okay. Fear not. Let's put 0. And I think I'm going to need, yeah, put 0. All right, okay. And now we're still going for this option are all else in Java 8. Still don't remember what is this cow shit. I remember I read it one time because L is returning a cow. No, that's we are reading strings. We want to read cow. Okay. Is it cow from? That's it. Cow from. Yep. All right. Okay. So that works. So we should see the combo box. What I don't like, so we add the jiggle group, we get this, and now we get the combo box. I think it's fine. Yeah, I can go here. Obviously, if it is root, it means it's not there, right? So we do boom, right? Okay, so if something happens, okay, so it means this changed. Then I think the easiest way is to just create a completely new jiggle group, right? So if we are empty, we add the jiggle group. No, sorry. No. Yes. Yeah. So jiggle groups. Okay, so we need a selected jiggle group, which we already have here. We have to be a little bit careful here with the thing. And we can do add bone sequence. And the bone sequence is gonna be, so we pass the bones for the model. And then we pass the name of the bone. Should be easy enough. Model, bones, bone index, name. And it's not this. This is if JG jiggles is empty, then we add this thing. This should work. And then else, I think add bone sequence, what it can do is, I think it should clear everything, right? It's like, jiggles clear. All right, that is not a super beautiful thing, so I don't need to do this. Okay, that sounds like, all right, to the point that we should actually see it working the moment that I create the jiggle bone, right? So the moment that I create it, so add the jiggle group, bang, go to head 2. Where is it? Head 2. There you go. And it gets... Yeah. Not really. It's only moving. It's only... It looks like... Did I click... I clicked 8. Okay, so let's test it. What happens if I change it to 2? Why I change it to 2 and it goes to 8? Hold on. What's going on here? Disgust off. How you doing? What's going on here? What's going on? So head 2, and we go here. Bone index is 10. Bones. Bone number 10 is head 2. Okay. But it gives me head 8. What the hell? Ah, because it's selecting the parent index. That doesn't make any sense. Let's do it again. Hello? Run editor. Did you switch to Rust only for the bones? For the for everything, the entire thing, So I don't know which was the stream you saw before. I started in Jai, then I did like 3-4 days in Godot where I basically rewrote the entire game. Yeah, Jai. Yeah. And then eventually I came back to this. This doesn't make any sense, right? Because it gives me 8. This doesn't make any sense. Let me do something. Let me do let me do I still have this it's annoying. Why? This is something so stupid. What the hell is going on? Let's do the breakpoint again. And let's get into this to understand what's going on. So jiggles, I'll jiggle group, bang, bang. Head 2, boom. So bone index 10. Okay, so I add the sequence, and now can I see? Oh shit, I can't see. Jiggle groups, jiggle 0, jiggles. I only have 1. This doesn't make any sense. Let's do it again. What we are seeing doesn't make any sense. Bang. So we're getting into this. Come on. Bubble. All right. So the name is Mixamorig Head 02. Fair enough. So add bone, and now the bones of self is jiggle oh my gosh, how is this breaking this bad? How is that possible? Okay, parenting is 9. No, this is correct. Parenting index 9. That's still correct. And then what is happening? Okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think I need to do the test. This was working without problem, so I really don't get it. So let's do all the way here and do it like this. So we grab the model, and then we do let mutable jiggle group tests is a jiggle group new test. Okay, and then jig test, add bone sequence. Here's the bones. And mix some more rig head 002. Okay, and then in the thing, it gives me 8. Do I break it by going into the UI? I don't think so. Oh my god, how is this possible? What did I change? Is this jiggle clear? It can't be. Wow, I'm so fucking retarded. All right. Yeah, because, you know, this is a recursive function, right? So we're going back in and we're clearing. Man. All right. So when we clear this stuff, we have to clear it from the outside, right? So, okay, so I don't need all these tests. All right. That was really dumb. All right, so add bone sequence. So jiggles clear. Right. All right. Can you estimate how long it takes you to create a playable demo version of what this game? It's like it's an impossible. You know, you have to define what you want to have in the playable version, right? If you know, like, is this a reasonable? Let's let Rust build. Right, is this a reasonable demo version? So it really depends what you want to get in the demo version. Right. So and also what you want to do with the demo, right? If it is a demo that you want to, for example, release on Steam, that's a lot of work, right? If you want to release it, there's tons of work, tons of polishing, because you really don't want to ruin the impression, the first impression. So it's a ton of work. I would imagine, my prediction for the entire development time for this game is, hopefully I can keep it in the 2 years, to give you an idea. But yeah, well, that's more like a beta testing. That's more like a beta testing version more than a demo. And I hope that I have something that is worth to play. I don't know, maybe 6 months from now. So I would imagine that this week I'm mostly working on the UI, and try to really understand how good things can look in the UI, because we need to take decisions how to proceed with the game. But how things look for the character, right? What kind of level we can reach for the character. So that's why I'm concentrating on things like moving the hair, that kind of stuff. I did some work on the UI last week, because that's going to kind of point us in the direction of where really to push, right? yeah, that's one way to do it. Like, and then we call Andre Agassi and ask if we can call the Agassi tennis. I already have Agassi in the game, like in the one of the position that the AI. Do you still work with Kunos? No, I don't. I left last November. Right, this should work. So that was a stupid mistake. There you go. So jiggles, add group, boom, bang, head to. Okay, it gives me the wrong root bone. That is really confusing, but I think it's fine. I think we got it. Yeah, there you go. All right. So let me sort this out. Because I discovered that basically I really don't change that. So for now, let's say that we have a parent index, but we also have an actual indent, a bone index, even if, inside we don't really use it, right? And this parent index, I don't think we need to see it. So the bone index is going to be enumerate. So this bone index, right? So this should clear up the situation. Yes, Andre Simulator, we already have a name for the game. So yeah, so it's like, bold programmer, bold tennis player. We solve the performance, shiny surfaces. I have one question. How did you manage the UI? And I think you have to give me more details on that question. Is this something that I'm not reading completely, because I see the UI but the message cut. Oh man, this is annoying. You're talking about the game UI or the UI that I'm using for the editor, because those are two different things. In the game, for the game, what I'm doing, I'm building like a retain style UI. How do you manage the models of player character? How did you manage the model of player characters? Did I use Unity? No, it's a custom engine that I wrote, so it's not Unity or Unreal or anything. It's like the old way of making games, where you actually write your own engine. And I think probably the word you're looking for is not really UI, but it's rendering. All right, that make more sense. So now we have head, and it's actually using the head. We got the animation. Let's twist. All right. That's good. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, you basically write your own renderer. There are like a bunch of functions that you use to talk with the graphic card, and you write your own engine. Obviously, I'm making it like sound very easy, but it's, it's a long. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So obviously, before I even started working on this game, I already had to work on the engine for a long time. Right, let's push. All right, so we've done this. Now what we want to do, let's start with the parameters, the basic parameters of the things, because that's interesting, I think, to see. So for example, we could have a slider with drag, and we can pass in the jiggle group drag. Easy enough. And the minimum is 0 and the maximum is really 0.99. I think it's even too much, because what is it, what? Why the minimum and maximum is mutable? That doesn't sound right. That really doesn't sound right. I don't understand why I think it's mutable. For me, this one was a little bit hard, because after many years of working with DirectX 11, I had to learn Vulkan, which is like 10 times harder than DirectX 11. It's like insanely, stupidly hard. So that took me a long time. All right, so this is the drag at 0.05, and let's try to see what is the effect of the drag. Sadly, yeah, we really don't have like a good animation, because all the animation we have, the hair are really going into the body. It becomes really hard to see. Right? So if we increase the drag, yeah, what is happening is that basically the hair want to remain in where they are. Doesn't make any sense at all. So I think we really want like a stupidly low value. So I think, you know, even 0.1 doesn't make much sense. How are these skeletal animation movements created? This particular dance, so there are some stuff that you can get from a website that is called Mixamo. Obviously, they don't have stuff related to tennis. So all the animation, all the tennis stuff, you know, my wife created them. So all the more tennisy stuff. All these are created by us. This I asked her to add me this because I wanted to see the head moving as much as possible, so I could get these jiggle bones to move. So that's, now we have a much more sensible range for the drag. Even at 0.1, it doesn't make any sense. Even 0.1 is totally useless. Right. And we can see suddenly the run, I think the run, she moves too much. So yeah, but this is going to be interesting to see in the game, because, you know, that's the thing that we're going to see. We're going to see that so we really need to see. And this, the problem here is that the animation is jumping and then it's doing this thing. Until we see it in game, is not really going to give us any information of how far we are from where we want to be. Yeah. And what other parameters we have? So other parameters that we have, so we have gravity, and I think it's worth exploring. So do I have like a vector 3 or something? Vector float, input float 3. That's cute. How we use this? So we put label, which is going to be gravity. I mean, realistically, we really only need one value. Come on, let's be serious here. Right, let's do it as a slider. We call it gravity. Right, and then it's going to be minimum 10 and maximum plus 10. We can have like positive gravity. And then the value is just mutable gravity y. Right, we don't need to complicate. We're not going to have lateral gravity. Is that a which animation software? Blender. Simple enough. Is there a way to create legs animation for some we tried. I think tennis movements is too fast. So we tried, we didn't try really hard, to be honest. I think we tried one thing. I think we should give it a try. We should definitely give it a try to create the video ourselves. So it's I don't know how good it is. You know, we tried very quickly, not happy, and we moved on. What state in Australia have you moved on? I'm in Perth, so Western Australia. All right, so now we got the gravity, and we can invert the gravity. Yep. All right. Okay. That's a very interesting effect. I was not expecting this. It's interesting that it does it in a tum 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 way. And see how is the effect of the gravity while she dances. Okay, so it's like, because I think this could be a thing, like reducing a little bit the gravity. Yeah, it straight away looks better to me, because we were looking at it. I was like, it looks so heavy. It looks like a, and I have a feeling that we can actually go to the next bone to animate. Yeah, I think this is better. Instead of, because the first couple of bones are not really supposed to move. It's very... That looks pretty good, actually. So let me bring back the gravity to a real value. It is definitely heavier. I think that's how they do it. I think that's how they do it. In the manga, they scale the gravity way down. Look at this, and you get this kind of flowy. Because at the end of the day, I think what is happening, and we might actually need some kind of... I wonder if we should have like eventually a gravity that scales down, right? Because what I'm thinking is that if the tip of the hair are less, you see what I mean, less dense, so the air resistance will be stronger on those, right? That the hair on the top. But definitely with less gravity, they look slightly more hair-like. This is again back to real gravity, and it looks like she's got a chain attached to the hair like this. While like this, it looks like, she just comb her hair. I mean, not comb. What'd you say? Like dry hair, and it's like everything is flowy. Oh, that's good. Okay, that's see, this is the advantage of having stuff in the editor that you can play, right? Imagine trying to do this with code. I would have never imagined this kind of a big effect. Yeah, Perth is like the city in the world that is more far from everything else, right? So wherever I want to go here, I need to get on a plane, basically, and it's like for a long time. I still don't know how long it is to Sydney or Melbourne, but my guess would be at least 4 hours, maybe even more. I don't know. And then it's like 6 hours to something like Singapore or something like that. So yeah, we're far from everything. No gravity. All right. So, is there anything else that it's worth exposing at the moment? So we got the hardness. I'm not using it, I think. I commented it out because, I mean, let's see what effect it has. My impression is that we don't need it, but let's see the effects. That's why we're doing this. So hardness, and we go from I think 0.05 to 1. I think the concept of hardness is so right now the hair are not elastic, right? So they don't. So the hardness is more to do something that kind of bounce around. So we said that starting from 3 is a better idea. All right, so this is hardness at 250, which is not the default. So they should be a little bit more allowing to bounce, but I don't really see any difference. Let's go to the extreme. Also, we have 10 iterations. So right now, honestly, I'm not seeing. So from 1, because what I would expect this thing to become longer, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. That's totally happens. That totally. I think 2-3 hours. I've been in Victoria and it's good. Queensland, Brisbane. You're in Brisbane. We actually had debated for, because we moved to Australia without ever being here, right? So we were watching a lot of YouTube to decide, and I think Brisbane, Gold Coast were the other 2 options. Never considered Sydney and Melbourne because I think that the cost is just completely insane. It was already hard over here, so I think there is it's even worse. I'm very surprised how it didn't really make a lot of difference, which makes me think either this could be the problem. Let's give it a try. Could be that's the problem. Sydney is a rat race, so you dodge a bullet there, yeah. And Melbourne has got so many news about crime and stuff like that. See with an animation. Because the difference there is that this is not allowing. So let's put the fluffiness. Is keeping the length. It's trying to keep the length constant, right? While the code that I had before, that I just commented out, basically allowed the length to become shorter. So I wonder if I need 2 hardness, one for extension and one for compression or stuff like that. Or, if this is my simulation brain, overthinking probably. It's definitely a very different feel with, it doesn't look good at all with the trying to keep the distance. It really doesn't work. This is what happens if I increase the hardness now. Yeah, I think for our for our application, I would say this is a good line of code. This is a good line of code. It does good stuff. Oh, I'm already bored of recreating this stuff. So I think I'm going to write the code to serialize this so I don't have to do this every single time. I'm already bored. So let's say that we like these values. What happened here? Why is it? Okay, we have 0 drag. Okay. So drag has a very dramatic effect. Okay. So let's say that we love these values, right? So we love a little bit, maybe a little bit of drag more. So 0, 0, 4, like 3 for gravity and 1 for hardness, right? So before I write the serialization, let's plug it into the game and see what happens. I have absolutely no idea. So in the game, we're going to have our jiggle group. So we're going to do it really manually. Right. So let mutable jiggle group equal jiggle group new air. Right, and then jiggle group add bone sequence model bones, and then it was mixamorec head 003, right? And the data that we like was drag at kind of 0.003 or 0.04, and then it was gravity at -3, and jiggle group hardness at 1. All right. And then simply when we get here, we update it. So we do all the animation, blah, 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 blah. We set the matrix and we update the jiggle group. And we need the model bones. And we're going to need a DT. We have a DT. Yeah, that's it. That's all we need. You want the entire model. Okay. All right. I have no idea what is going to happen. All right. Those are kind of very demonic hair. Let's have a look with the serve. Let me get the AI to play so I just watch. It's very wild. wonder what I need to change. There is obviously every time the animation jumps a little bit, there is a huge. Let's see 1 second how it's moving laterally. It looks really cool, but it doesn't. It's super wild. All right, let me see what happens 1 second if I just increase the drag a little bit. By the way, I should mention that I actively created personal mods for Assetto Corsa. Awesome. With 3D Studio Max. However, the Simone, the guy that does all the tracks, still works with 3D Studio Max. In breaking into the gaming industry, I'm currently considering learning to program in C++ purely because I want to create my own game engine, similar to how most studios did it with sixth generation console back in the days. What is the best way? Obviously, C++ is a very hard language to learn if it is your first language. But if that's what you want to do, the best way is to just start. Probably I would avoid, I don't know, because you can imagine I learned to program a long time ago. And I don't know how much you know already about programming. Probably the way I would do it is for sure start with like text stuff. Right? So yeah, the way I would do it, I would write like a very simple adventure game, the kind of old style. You are at the entrance of a castle and, it's raining outside. What you do, do you knock on the door, you climb on the window, or you go home? Stuff like that. Right? And you have 3 choices and you choose, and then you go to the next thing. So that will give you the super basic stuff. And there are so many ways to create damage with C++ just by doing that, right? There are so many ways you can get it wrong. That if you already know how to program, then you can jump straight away into doing C++. I would say if you want to start with an engine, probably the best engine to do attempt to do some C++ into a game engine, I think, is Unigine, which is, I write it down like Unigine, and I'm not sure I have it. Unigine SDK browser. So it's this one. Oh shit! I don't remember my password. All right. And I find the API quite good. I don't know if I have anything in Unigine that I can show how the C++ will look like, but I find it really nice. I find it that it's really nice to work with. So that's how I would do it. Yeah. Just how I would think about the character, the movement of the hair, drag, lightness there, but also the hair at the knot is moved by vigorously at the end, so damping of the movement from the knot to the end, but also the whip effect. Drag is lightness of the hair. Yeah, I think I think if I increase the drag, let's be extreme. So we saw that even a value of 0, 1 is super extreme, right? what I'm afraid is that the drag is going to create an effect where when the player moves, the air will stay there. So my prediction is that we're going to see air at 90 degrees as we're running. Let's have a look. You see, it's like almost like she's in water. It looks like she's in water to me. See, it does this thing that... So drag is definitely not... At least not with that value. And I wonder if in that situation, even the gravity so low is not helping us really. So let's try also to reduce this. I don't know. I literally don't know what I'm doing. So let's give it a try. Just give it a try. And then I will move on and write the thing. I follow Unigine periodic update. I think it's slowly becoming mainstream. It's more industrial and commercial use for companies that require robust physics and simulation. That's true. It's definitely their market. I remember finding them in a show about an exhibition about military application. So it's already better, I think. I have a feeling that we might need maybe some hardness in the, but it's very, very hard. It's very hard, especially when there are this situation where the character is forced into a position like that. Right. Every time the character is repositioned, the hair go completely crazy. So at the end of a point, and also if there are situations where, see, there. If there are situations, let me see the serve. Also the eye is doing this vibration thing that doesn't help. Yeah, it looks like it's too much in the water. The physics engine, they have an interesting physics engine. It's got some surprising, in a bad way, things missing. Like, for example, you cannot have mesh colliders. So that was really surprising for me. I don't remember now if it was like dynamic colliders or it was even on the track. So you couldn't do a track where things were not moving and it was a mesh. You only have to use shapes, which is very limiting. Yeah. I will have to, to do that. I will have to. Right now, the thing when it. Yeah, I need to detect that because that's coming from the physics. So it's not a problem. I will have to figure out one thing at a time. Let's go like super low with the drag and see what the effect is. And then I think I just write the serialization and I call it a day. Yeah, so reducing the drag is not a good thing. The thing that I'm thinking though is that the problem is that the situation when we're playing the game is so different from what we can recreate in the editor that I wonder if I'm probably going to need that editing facility also here in the game. Because it's very clear that we are seeing things here in the game that we will not be able really to replicate in the editor, right? Because the movement, there is the movement of the character, right? It's not just the animation. In the editor, the animation is moving the character to a point, but then it's not really doing this left, right. So I have a feeling that I'm going to need to be able to tweak and experiment while the game is playing and not in the editor. So I think that could be... Right. Let's write a very simple serialization and then we call it a day. You love Albania. All right. Have you seen Harry in Horizon Zero Dawn and Assassin's Creed? Well, no, but you know, there is no point for me watching those. Always we're going for a... You mean they're bad? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. If they're bad or they're good. I mean, it's difficult to compare with those guys. So the question here is how we save this information, because we have something called the persistence, right? So, but the problem with this is that the persistence, well, I could pass in jiggle groups. It's not really a big deal. I think it's not a big deal. I think I can pass just jiggle groups. I'm not sure I can see them from here though, because I think my jiggle group I think we have a problem here, because my jiggle group lives in the render. And the render is below the graphics where I have this save persistence. So what I could do, yeah, occasionally goes all freaky in those games. I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. It's not an easy problem. At the end, what I notice is that, you know, in the reference game that we have, you know, it's they're more drag. They stay put. They don't. So they have this wavy nature. I have a feeling that what I need, because right now my drag system is really working on the velocity of you know, the single particle that I'm simulating. I wonder if I should have some kind of drag that works on, and that's why when we increase the drag, as the player moves, the hair remain behind, right? Because they don't want to move. I wonder if I should have like another kind of drag, which is basically like the difference of velocity between 2 points. So if the points are trying to do this, they get drag. See I'm ready. The long hair First of all, they have this direction that they always go behind, like diagonally, so they never fall. And this could be the effect of a collider, but I think we watched some models, and they seem to have always this hair going diagonally back. They don't seem to have a character that has that kind of style that we were, this kind of shorter style. For example, things like the bunny ears, that's where we need limits, and they should stop them from collapsing. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, it could also be that they are animated, because the thing is that in these games you have the what is called the main characters, what is called heroes, whatever. The word doesn't come. The way we want to do it, so it's and you have like an army of people working on it, so it's, especially for those menu, it's not impossible that all those moves could be pre-programmed, right? Because they also have things like jiggles in the skirts and stuff like that, and yeah, you need to make sure that the camera movement, you don't get something that you don't want to get with the skirts. So it's very possible that it's possible that they're using some program that does the simulation, and then an animator can actually go there. Yeah, protagonist. I don't know. There is like a more specific word. I think hero, like, a hero shooter or something like that, right? So, and then I don't know if when you go in the game, I didn't pay attention while you're playing if the animation of the hair and things is different. I don't know. So what we're going to do here, what is our problem, right? So the problem here is that this is what I would like to do, right? So I would like to have like jiggle groups, right? Or even better, like this, right? But the problem is that in this level, in this crate that I have, I cannot see the jiggle groups, right? I cannot see that. The way you do software is like, it's like bottom up. So in this, we are in what I call the graphics, and the graphics here is holding stuff that is regardless of the renderer. So things that will work even if I change the renderer. While the jiggle group needs to know more about the actual render to actually work, which is not true 100%. There is only one thing that the jiggle group is doing at this moment that really requires a model, and it's called this function. So I could actually move this all in graphics, because there is nothing in here that requires knowledge of the render. This is the only one. And this is like something that is kind of annoying me. It keeps annoying me. But I don't know when to do this today. So what we can do today, what we can say, we can have a callback, right? So we can have a function. I always forget how to do this. Every single time I forget it. What is happening here? I always forget how to do this. Right. I have a feeling that, yeah, we can do this. And so we have this callback and we can pass the writer. Right? So we can pass the writer as a, what is it? Immute dynamic write. And the idea is that before we're done, we call that function. Right? So what's the problem? Expected mutable reference found struct. Okay, yeah. And now you want f to be mutable. I told you that it was going to be mutable, right? We're not using AI. We're not using AI. Good morning, Puzzone. I can't understand what your code does, but I miss the jiggle group logic is. Maybe you implemented it a bit. You mean what the jiggle group is? It's the thing that makes, so what I'm trying to do is it makes the hair move in a physical way, right? So instead of having hair being animated in a fixed way, so you have an animation and the hair move following that animation, the hair react in a physical way, right? There are different ways. Somebody call it dynamic bones, jiggle bones, physical bones. You know, there are different names. I find it funny to call it jiggle. All right. So now the cool thing is that here, right now we can grab the writer and write the jiggle groups. So what we can do is, let me see what is the kind of file that we save here. So basically the persistence is a file that gets saved in the same place where the original GLB file is, right? So if we have a player, we have this file here, glb.ini, that saves this stuff, right? And it's basically, it's like, okay, what was changed in this thing, right? So what we're going to do, you're happier now, right? One thing that, what's going on here? One thing that, let me make this a little bit better, because what we really want to pass in here is an option, right? We don't want to force I don't want to force future me to have to do this every single time, right? So the idea is that here it's like if let sub f is f, then we call f as mute, I think. Right, that's cute, right? So yeah, if I'm not interested in loading the jiggle groups, I just put none and we're good. All right? Are we? What's going on? We're not good. Ooh, what is this? Type annotation needed. Hmm. The Rust moment. Where are we? What do you want from me? What's so complex about this? You know what? It's 7 in the evening. I'm not really doing this. A battle for another day. Right. So, right there. Are we good now? Yeah. All right. Then we do 4 jiggle groups in self jiggle groups iter. Ciao, ciao, Beebits. You are yeah, this I'm not into it, so yeah, I leave it to you young guys to go and use AI, learn with that and see what you can do. What should I do, Rust or Go? It depends what you want to do. They are very different. They are very different technologies, right? So for web, probably Go, but I'm not a web developer, so I have no idea. I know Rust and Go. I did products with both of them, but you know, I wouldn't use Go for a game, right? But that's where my this is still not going to solve our problem, though. But anyway, because now I'm thinking, how am I going to load this stuff? Right? I can save it, but how I can load it? Then we need the root bone. We're doing it like this. We're doing, okay, we're not doing equal, we're doing this. Fine. The root bone. The root bone is going to be self-model data bones bone index. Let's make sure that we're saving jiggle groups that actually have stuff in it. Right, so we're only saving root jiggle bones that actual jiggle groups that have bone set. So that means that I can go here and do jiggles 0 and be sure that it's there. Name. Okay. Right. And then we can write the drag. And we can write gravity. Let's put gravity Y to make sure that we understand what we're saving. Gravity Y. What else was the hardness? And what else? That's it. I think that's enough, right? So let's have a look at what we're saving. Let's add a new line just in case. All right, let's see what we're saving. The problem is that I have no idea how to load it. We're going to have exactly the same problem with loading. I can load it, you know, separately. It's not a big deal. So root, head 3, blah, blah, blah. And I save, close, open this, and there you go. This, fuck me. And need to go again. So, right line. Red line, red line, red line, red line. All right. Kunos. All right. So we got this. Okay. All right. And finally, we can add here load from any file name. We return a vector of Jiggle group. But we will need the bones. No. All right. How we do this? We cycle the sections. No, we open the ini file. Right. Ini is ini file open file name. So okay, in file name. Okay. And otherwise we just return an empty vector. Then we cycle in any sections. Okay. Sections. Okay. All right. And then we do if let some group name is s name strip prefix Jiggle. Right, it was Jiggle, right? Yeah. So if we get this, we create the group. So let's have our vector here with the result, right? So let mutable groups is a new vector, and we return that at the end. Groups. All right. So we create the Jiggle group here. Jiggle group, new group name. All right. And then we set the drag to as find F32 drag, and we just unwrap it. I think it has to be there. This is written automatically, so I think for now I can just unwrap. Gravity Y is F, find F32 gravity Y, and we unwrap also this. Hardness as fine F2 hardness, unwrap. Okay, and then we add the group to the result. And we need to add the add bone sequence. We pass the bones, and we pass F find string root bone. It was root bone, right? Yep. Okay. That should be it. Okay, so if this works, when we do the load, load import from GLTF, import model from GLTF. So here we can do the persistent file name is going to be format file name. Nope, it's going to be this dot any. Okay. So what we can do is Jiggle groups equal Jiggle group load from any persistent file name model bones. If everything goes okay, we should be able to launch the editor and see the Jiggle group already there. Yeah, we saw already the hair were moving, so here it is. Exactly the way we left it. Right? Final dance, and I think we can close the stream here. You know, still a lot of work to do. But this is tough. I mean, I never done this stuff before. It's literally the first time that I do something like this. Makes more sense without a racket. What is this finger? Okay, that's the thumb. I thought it was the index. Right. That works. All right. That's all good. Let's commit this. So Jiggle bones in editor, save Jiggle. Let's go. That was do you need like collision with the body? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's probably the next step is to add a very simple collision mechanic. Well, I should probably do also so I need that, and I didn't need the limits. So basically we want to have a system that it's already there. I commented it out. Let me check quickly if enabling the limits is going to give us a better result in the game. I don't think so. Straight away, completely wrong. Oof. Oof, that's really bad. It needs work, you know. Game development, games are not made in a day. Thanks a lot, guys. Spending some time together, and I will see you next time. Ciao, 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 ciao.